Okay, hi. So it's Carrie Johnston, and I am filming today on the traditional territory of Champagne and Asiac First Nations in beautiful Dakwakata Haines Junction. And my guest today is Rory. Rory, introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody out there. My name is Rory MacDonald. I'm the owner operator of the franchise Footwear and Apparel, now located in the Horwoods Mall. We are here in the Kwanlin Dun First Nation, Tahan Gwich'in Council in Whitehorse, Yukon. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me.
Thanks so much for joining me today. So tell me a little bit about what franchise footwear is.
So we are a traditional brick and mortar retail business. I focus on footwear and apparel. We dabble in everything from sunglasses to skateboards has been a new addition to us, but the focus is definitely on footwear and clothing.
And how long have you been in operation for?
June 6th made 6 years in business for me. So since 2014.
Congratulations. That's amazing for a small retail shop to go 6 years. That's a good hurdle to pass.
Yeah, thank you.
That's amazing. Okay, can you just tell me a little bit about what shoe culture is?
Yeah, it's huge. So it's really cool for me. I've been interested in this since I was a young kid. I grew up as a skateboarder, and like skateboarding and hip hop culture is very much intertwined. And the fashion side of that is a big part of it. So since a young man, I was interested in shoes, skate shoes, and that has kind of evolved into basketball shoes and Nike and Jordan kind of shoes specifically over the years. And yeah, like I said, those paths have always kind of crossed in the world and in the fashion world. And for me, it's kind of neat. I was able to move away to Vancouver and kind of learn a trade, and now have a chance to bring that back to my hometown in the Yukon and kind of bring that culture to a place where it didn't exist before, or existed in a very small capacity before, I should say.
Okay. And so what have you learned about your business model over the last couple of months?
Over the last couple of months, there's been a lot of realizations. Like my business, like I said, is 100% brick and mortar. I don't operate online at all. So we've definitely seen a shift in COVID for that. I've been lucky enough to be able to pivot to, instead of having lineups for sneakers every other Saturday, we now have to launch them via Instagram raffle. So it's a lot more work than just, putting up a post saying coming soon or is available on Saturday, and then all the kids will, would normally come and line up for those sneaker releases. Now we have to contact all of the winners. Well, first of all, we have to do a draw. So all of the people who enter the draw are entered for each size. I have to fairly pick and draw the names, contact all the winners, make sure that they still want to purchase the shoes. A small fraction of them decline, so then I have to contact the runners up. So a lot more work goes into it, but I was able to still operate those raffles during this time. So that's very much what kind of kept my head above water for the 8 weeks that I was closed during April and May. So really, as far as business models are concerned, the brand exclusivity that I have really helped me out there. Nike and Jordan products, they're very selective as to what retailers they sell their products at. So it was very much having those products, not just those products, a lot of the other brands I sell as well. But yeah, that was a big part of it. Really pivoting to hustling on social media, putting a lot more content, changing the way I interacted with people on social media was a big part of it. And also introducing new products. So yeah, a big part of it was just willing to change and willing to adapt when the time came, and not being bullheaded and trying to stick to my old ways. I think was probably my biggest key to success in the last couple of months.
Yeah, I've been really impressed watching how you've been building relationship through Instagram with your customers and clients. I think you're really leading the way in a lot of ways, especially for traditional brick and mortar stores. So like,
Thank
thank
you.
you for leading in that space and doing great work. So what are you kind of learning about your customers in doing that and engaging online in a different way?
We've seen a lot of support, from people. People have been, I was lucky enough, I knew I was going to be closed for a short amount of time. So I took advantage of that time to relocate my business. So I moved to the Horwoods Mall. So I was really worried that customers would see me boarding up the windows and shutting down shop. And so I really wanted to be like very vocal that I was moving and that I was not, not in any way like shutting down or closing or anything like that. So I did a lot more of like diary type content on the social media. I wasn't selling as many products at that time, but I was like, look, here's, Felix at Remax, who was awesome enough to lend me his moving van to move to the Horwoods Mall. And the guys at Leaping Feets lent me the rolling racks to be able to move all my products. And like, so I really kind of trying to change the content I was having. And normally I'm not a very big, like public person about what I'm up to on social media. So that was a little different for me. But yeah, I really learned that, my customers really wanted to support. They really started following what I was up to. They were very vocal in like supporting me and wishing me good luck and that kind of thing. And the customers that are buying products from me they're reposting or making their own posts on social media to show their friends their purchases, and they always shout me out. We use the hashtags and I try to repost those from customers, and I try to take pictures of the customers who support me. So yeah, the engagement with them has been awesome. And that's been a big change. I did that in a smaller capacity previously, but tried to do that a lot more during this time as well.
So while you're leading the way in this sort of Instagram space, like, what are you learning about leadership?
Leadership, I'm definitely trying to take an active role in the community. I find myself in a very lucky position to be able to have a following on Instagram and have kids paying attention to what I'm doing. So I feel I need to do more than just sell them sneakers. You know what I mean? I need to not only like try to bring this culture to the Yukon, like we do, music posts, we play new music in the store, do stuff like that. We try to promote local artists. We've had a couple of kids make art projects for us, just out of the blue, completely surprised me. Josh and Simon Lauer dropped off like a 400% bare brick, custom made, custom painted, like totally surprised me, blew me away. And another young kid, Nathan, made a painting of, there was a sneaker released in a Spider-Man movie, and he did a painting of Spider-Man in the sneaker that we released. And yeah, just the fact that these kids, think of me or think of the store in that light is humbling, to say the least. I also was really proud to do a promotion with Wolfpack basketball. Coach Tim Brady and I go back a long way. I'm good friends with his son, and I had an opportunity to sell Kobe jerseys at the store, and I didn't feel right about profiting off of those Kobe jerseys, but I wanted my customers to be able to sell them. So I donated the money to the Wolfpack, and they invited me into a practice and, donated the check, and, all the kids were super stoked and, gave me a round of applause and whatever. So yeah, stuff like that is pretty awesome. And to be able to do that because people shop at my store is awesome. So I feel it's, the least I can do, in the community. So.
So, I mean, we've all had to learn a lot during the last couple of months. And so how are you thinking about your business model differently? What do you think is like here to stay? What are you looking at integrating down the line?
Yeah, online is a big part of it. One of the main reasons my store didn't exist online is because of the products that I carry. Because Nike and Jordan are such big brands, they want to control their online presence. So they haven't opened new online dealers in quite some time. And now with these recent changes, kind of things have started to change in that aspect. So hopefully, being in the north and being able to represent a customer that is underrepresented by some of the other stores in Canada might open the door for me to have a bigger e-com presence and online presence. So that's a focus for me in the future for sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. So all of your sales, when you had to go from normally having your lineups to this kind of raffle concept for the new release of a sneaker, you're still not selling those online. It's still like through your like land-based point of sale system, hey?
Yeah, we did. Customers would e-transfer the funds to me, and then when they came to pick up the shoes, that's when I would cash the e-transfer and would basically do curbside pickups. So although it was enough to kind of keep my head above water, that's a far cry from having a stream of customers coming through your store every day like you're used to. So, during that 8-week period, I maybe dropped, 3 or 4 shoes. So it was, literally kind of just enough to keep people interested and to have just a little bit of revenue to come in to pay some bills and stuff. So.
So any other things that you've been sort of learning, classes or books or like something like, we've all taken a bit of time to learn a new skill or many of us have. So has there been any sort of new skill that you've picked up?
That kind of relates again to e-com. I've been paying a lot of attention to Shopify, paying a lot of attention to e-com success and retaining customers, and there's a whole science that goes along with e-com shopping. I was lucky enough years ago. My background comes from working with a group of guys in Vancouver called the Red Dragons. They're a skateboard crew out of Vancouver. So they had an e-com store years and years ago when I used to work for them. So I had a, kind of early on experience with them, seeing them get their e-com up and rolling. And they've had a very successful e-com presence since then. So that was a good eye-opener for me years ago as to the potential that was out there for Canadian e-com, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what advice then do you have for, emerging entrepreneurs here in the Yukon or existing entrepreneurs who are trying to figure out how to get a better online presence or whatever it is?
Pretty cliche stuff, I would say, like, the classic, like, hang in there. It definitely wasn't easy, I was lucky enough while I was renovating and moving the store, I found it was a great distraction for me. To just really focus on something and not worry about the end of the world. And, I would say, like immerse yourself into something healthy and, kind of distract yourself. I found a really big advantage to me was reaching out to some old friends or people, maybe I hadn't talked to in a while. Make a FaceTime call and just surprise somebody out of the blue or, something like that. That went a long way. I was trying like weekly to kind of like call and catch up with somebody that I hadn't spoken to in a while. So I found that helped. And of course, like my partner, Kate, my mom, Rhea, my brother, Neil have been huge supports for me. So yeah, can't thank them enough. They help me on a daily basis. So yeah, lean on your supports, lean on those people around you. Because they help a ton.
And is that the same for your wellness practice then, or has there been anything else that you've been kind of integrating in to help keep you grounded?
Myself personally, I just turned 40 a couple of weeks ago. So I've been on a little bit of a health kick, a little bit of a health realization, what started with me, like, I'm lucky enough that I don't start work until 11 a.m. in the morning. So I try to take advantage. I walk the dog every morning. I try to, get some work done and try to have a peaceful day. But yeah, I've basically started walking the dog has kind of turned into some running and trying to get healthier. So yeah, been on this little health kick lately. and that's been very good for my mental health and having an outlet to to blow off some steam as well. So.
Mm. So any like major aha moments for you over the past couple of months, something that's like really changed your worldview or perspective that you'd like to share?
That one I thought about. I don't really have, I don't have a huge aha moment. Like I said, I think my saving base was pivoting at the right time. So that to me is my biggest realization, because I am quite stubborn sometimes and set in my ways and a creature of habit. So I'd probably say that's one of my biggest realizations. In a bigger picture, in retail, for me, because we plan so far in advance, like some of these products that I buy we're buying 6 to 8 months in advance. So we're having to almost like look into our little crystal ball and see what the trends are going to be or what the popular shoe is going to be. So for me, when something like that works out, when a shoe shows up 8 months later and it's a hit, and I have, refill sizes coming a month later to kind of top up on those sizes, and that all works out well, and it's like, it's been like an 8-month thing to happen, and it all comes together, I say, well, maybe I do know what I'm doing. It's like, that's in a bigger picture, probably like some of my aha moments is like, all right, like, yeah, maybe I do know what's up sometimes.
It is good to take a moment as an entrepreneur and pat yourself on the back a little bit, because like nobody else, it's the magic behind the scenes that nobody else is aware of, because if they were, they'd be doing it too.
It's like at retail, customers think there's this like magical back room of all these products waiting for them to come and purchase, and it's like, what you see is what you get. It's like, I worked very hard to get these products here, and a lot of time and effort went into getting those products into the store at the right time. So yeah, it's nice to see when it works out properly.
Yeah, the shoe industry, like you're in, it's very much you're curating, like you're creating the art of the shoe in this strange way, but it's really neat.
Well, and what's neat now is these shoes release now in Whitehorse on the same day as they do in Los Angeles and Halifax and Tokyo. So it's it's like they have global releases, and now Whitehorse is on that map too. So that's a pretty cool thing for me. So
it is. So the Yukon, because of the pandemic, we took this sort of like moment to really shut a lot of things down to maintain the safety of all Yukoners. And, we're in this period of reopening and normalizing. So what are some of the values of reopening that you'd like to share for yourself?
I think definitely being cautious as we reopen is big, to just assume that we're out of the woods and that, the worst is over, I think would be kind of foolish. So I think we still need to keep being diligent, even though we are, having a little bit more freedom. Obviously, I hope to see all businesses, continue to prosper and to still be around. There's, I think, a great community of small businesses in the Yukon. So I would hate to see, any of them, not be able to survive through this. So, shopping local is going to be a big one. These stores really need everybody's support, and that's going to be a big part of it. I think we're going to have a tough winter ahead. Right now it's sunny and it's nice and between rain, but I think when it's dark in January and February and people are prone to staying home and on the best of years, I think we're going to have some realizations. So yeah, we're gonna have a tough winter ahead. Not to be too pessimistic, but I think it's going to take a lot of support from people to make it through the winter for sure.
Just wondering, sort of when you did have to shut down your store for, you talked about shutting it down for 8 weeks, and what's it been like to reopen and try to maintain those, COVID safe protocols in your store?
Reopening has been awesome. I'm very happy that people are still shopping and still in a position that they can afford to shop. I'm very well aware that, $250 sneakers are a luxury item. So I'm very lucky to be able to still be selling those items. What did I got off track here. What did I?
Oh, just about people following your protocols in the store. What's it been
Right,
like as a retail
okay.
operator? Yeah.
Right, sorry. So yeah, I find at my store I have been quite strict with clothing and textiles and stuff. It's definitely a touch and feel type industry. You just naturally want to walk in the door and to handle the products, and I don't blame anybody for that. It's the first reaction, but we are having to limit customers on the amount of products that they handle until August 1st. August 1st, we kind of took the lead and kind of loosened our grips a little bit, whereas we allowed customers to start handling the products. Before that, you had to allow me to handle it for you. So that's been good. We have had a little bit of pushback a bit from customers, which is unfortunate. I'm not trying on size medium hoodies, you know what I mean? I'm not trying on size 8 shoes, so it's like, it's very much for my customers' protection that these rules are in place. I'm being very diligent about sanitizing myself and sanitizing like the areas that I touch. But it's a big store with a lot of items in it. So there's been a bit of pushback from customers, which is unfortunate. They feel like they should still be able to handle the stuff, and it's like, they may not realize how many people kind of come through the store in a short amount of time. I started counting a little bit during that time, and it was upwards of 250 to 300 people a week. So I think that's a lot of people in a month to be handling products. So yeah, we're probably a little more diligent or a little more strict than some stores, but yeah, ultimately it's for the protection of my customers. So.
Yeah, and if we're a little bit more strict and that keeps us safe and doesn't have us, shut down great stores like yours again, then I think it's all really worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of came into a community of stores here at Horwoods who had all made the conscious decision collectively to kind of close and for the benefit of their customers. So for me, it was great that, from my former location being just the one and only guy over on the corner there to being part of the community over here and being involved and, what are you guys up to? How are you guys handling this? And having some supports here too, to bounce ideas off of and stuff has been awesome. So
what I love about Yukon business is that, building a relationship and collaboration and supporting each other. Amazing.
Yeah, they've been awesome here. All the businesses have been very welcoming here. So yeah, I can't thank them enough.
Great. Okay, so you talked about liking to play, new Yukon music, but are there any podcasts or music or books or movies or whatever that's kind of getting you through that you'd like to recommend?
Yeah, I definitely need to plug Local Boy, Jer and Kelvin, a couple of local dudes. They make some great music. They're out in the community. They're teaching the youth in this community how to make music, how to record music. So definitely a shout out to those guys. I'm a big hip hop fan, so a lot of my recommendations are kind of hip hop based. In the hip hop community, they've been doing these versus battles on Instagram Live. Where you get two artists who have a catalog of music kind of team up and we'll go hit for hit, for a 20 hit sequence. And yeah, so those have been awesome to watch. I think we're getting a lot of really good content because of people being in isolation and people being at home. So podcasts in general have been, they've been sprouting up everywhere and have been, really good content. So a couple that I watch are the Joe Budden podcast, the Brilliant Idiots. Those guys are always good for a laugh. And then a couple of really like hip hop deep dive ones are People's Party with Talib Kweli and Drink Champs with Noriega is a very funny one where they sit around and have drinks, and it's basically like an insight on a friend's conversation more so than a podcast. But yeah, all those come highly recommended if you're a hip hop fan out there.
Awesome. Any final words or closing thoughts before we end for today?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank anybody who has supported my store. yeah, I can't thank the community enough for supporting me, and to be able to essentially live my dream. Having a store, working for myself is awesome, and I think I've done a good job of trying to grow and trying to build the store as I go. So it's been a very rewarding process. So yeah, just can't thank anybody enough who's supported me over the years.
Great. Thanks so much for your time today. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. It was great to meet you.